Okay, so the recording has begun. And so I just want to welcome you all again to this is day three, week 8, right? Day 3, week 8, and it's definitely a joy to have you all here as we move through these questions. Today is Wednesday, so that means that we will be doing math and English. You know, I ain't see someone's cameras on. Yeah, I don't see Miss Cooper. That's the first. Okay. Okay, so let's begin. So let's finish up with where we left off. So yesterday we was trying to figure out um what is the slope, right? So it says here calculate the gradient. Now a gradient is just another word for slope, all right? So it says calculate the gradient or slope of your graph in B, all right? Now yesterday we drew the graph, right? Where's this graph? This is the graph that we draw. It's a linear function, right? So it's a graph of a line. Okay.
Mr. Teacher.
I'm not sharing.
I can't see it.
My screen is sharing.
No, sir.
What? Wow. Thank you. Wow. Okay. Thank you. I thought I was sharing. Okay. Good. So let me go back. So what I was saying is that yesterday we drew the graph of a linear function. Okay. And by a linear function, we know that if it's a linear function, its graph is a straight line. Okay. And the slope, right? The slope tells us how steep the line is, and it also tells us orientation. So it tells us whether the line is ascending or it is descending. In this case, it's ascending. All right, so we drew this line yesterday, and that's what the question says. It says draw the graph of the line y is equal to 2x minus 1 divided by 3. And so that was B. So we drew this line, using the points that we was given. Wow, this looks scary. Wow, this page looks scary. Interesting, right? So that's what we did yesterday. Okay, so this page looked really mathy. All we did was we plotted the points. Okay, so we plotted each point, and after we plotted the points, then after we got the points and we plot them on our graph, and then we draw the line. Okay, we make sure I put our x-axis and make sure I put our y-axis. Definitely make sure and label the graph. And so now they're asking us, okay, seeing that you have already drawn the graph, can we calculate the gradient or calculate the slope of the graph? And I told you all yesterday that there are different ways that we could do this. What we could do is we could use the equation of the line, which is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope. Okay, and so that means that the number in front of x, right? The number in front of x is going to be a slope. And so what we did was we took the linear equation and we said, okay, this denominator 3 applies to both the 2x and the negative 1. So we did that. So we took the 3, we applied it to the 2, and we also applied it to the negative 1. And we said that the slope is 2 over 3, and the y-intercept is 1 over 3. Now, that's how we do it if we just want to identify it. But here they said, hey, calculate. And so we have to use the slope formula to calculate it. Right? And I think I gave you all that for homework, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Did anyone do it?
I tried it.
You tried it? Any luck?
I didn't do it, I ain't gonna lie.
I didn't do it. All right. Hey, Miss Cooper.
Hi.
I just was asking for you.
I get Ralph my mommy for coming late. I didn't realize the time.
Listen, you think it's you? Boy, if y'all only know, I was in the middle of what's supposed to be a 15-minute nap.
I was in a game.
Come on, man. What type of game that is?
I wasn't in a game actually. I was outside.
Oh,
All I know is but 5:30.
yeah. I mean, yeah. We in the same show. When I look, I say, what? It's already 6 o'clock. So we started a bit late, So that's on me too. Um, but boy, that nap was good. That was good. Okay. Yeah. So so no one did the homework. Interesting. All right. So okay. So we're gonna use this.
I did the homework, just I don't know if it's right.
Okay. All right. That's good. At least you
Yeah.
tried.
We can find it right now because, I do it the crazy way and then we'll find out. Technically,
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so we have to use the formula. This is the formula for the slope, and we're gonna use that formula to calculate the slope, the gradient. Okay, so what we need, to be honest, is we need this, interestingly enough. So we need to get this and use this to help us with it. So for negative 2.5, the corresponding x value was, sorry, the corresponding y value for negative 2.5 was negative 2. So this is negative 2. That's what we saw yesterday. And the corresponding y value for 8 was what? Anyone can remember?
5.
It was 5. That's
It's
Miss Bodie, Jacqueline.
Yes, sir.
That's some math brainy. 5. Very good. Okay. So Miss Bodie, did you try the homework?
I had a wild day, so I didn't have a chance to.
Okay, you had a wild day. Okay. All right. No problem. You're excused. You're the only one who is excused.
can't explain why it's that.
He's the only one that is excused. The rest of y'all supposed to turn in this homework. Y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus.
Okay, can I tell you my answer?
Yeah, tell me your answer.
Okay, I got, me in my book, I think I got -7 on the top. And then on the bottom, I think I got -9 point. Let me look at my book. Yes, -9.5. But I could be wrong, depending on how I calculate it.
Ay.
They may sound wrong, hey?
We'll see.
I think it's wrong, because the thing is all the way to 8.
Remember what we said? That we already know what the answer is.
Yes, we didn't figure out.
The answer is 2/3. We know that.
Oh, shoots. But no.
You remember what I'm saying? Because we already identified what the slope was. I really want you to follow me. Like, we know that, we said this like 100 times. Like, we know that if we have this equation of a linear graph, right? We know that the slope is always going to be what?
In front of the x.
Say it again.
Number in front of the x.
The number in front of the x, right? And so we have y is equal to 2x minus 1 over 3. All we did was we split it. We put the 3 for the 2 and we put the 3 for the 1 because it's the denominator, so it applies to both of these terms. And so we get that the number that's in front of the x is 2/3. So we know that's the slope. We already know that. The only thing I realize is that it says calculate. So since they said calculate, it seems to me that they want us to use the formula. So we're not trying to get a new answer. We already know what the answer is. We're just trying to show that it's 2/3. Okay, so that's the difference there. Okay, so when we say y2 and y1, we just mean y values. Okay.
Sorry, quick question, but don't that imply that wait, so like I thought when we use that equation, like we're actually pulling out y x like x and y out of the entire set to do the question when you say calculate. Just curious.
That's the thing. When we did this, we didn't really calculate it. We just identified it. You know, we didn't really calculate to show that it's 2 over 1. All right. But when we use this formula, we're actually going to be doing some calculations, and so that's why we have to do it this way.
Okay.
Understand? Okay. So to find a slope, you just need 2 points. All right. Now, you could use, this is very important, you could use any 2 points. So you could use this point. So this is the point -7, -5. You could use that one. You could use this point. So you could use these 2 points. Or you could use this point and -1 and -1. Or you could use this point. Any two. Any two. So this one along with this one could work. This one along with this one could work, right? Or this one along with this one, right? Or even 8 and 5 and -1 and 1. I hope you get the point. Like any two could work. All right, do we understand that? All right, any two could work. It doesn't matter which two that we use. So I'm gonna play it smart. I'm not gonna use anything that has a negative on it. I'm just gonna use the positive ones. Now, so can someone tell me why you think I would only use the positive ones?
Yes, because so we can get a better understanding.
Slope is a positive.
Someone said it already.
Because the slope is a
No, not necessarily. We still would get the right answer if we use any two. Like one says,
It's easier to understand.
It's just easier to deal with, right? Just easier to deal with. Okay, so positive. I'll use the positive coordinates because they're just easier to deal with. So I'm gonna use this point, and I'm gonna use this point. All right, so this is the point 2 and 1, and this is the point 8 and 5. Okay, so that's important. So those are our points that these are the points that we choose. So the first points that you choose, you're gonna label them. That's gonna be your x1 and your y1. The first one is gonna be your x1 and your y1. The second one is gonna be your x2 and your y2. So we'd say that 2, right? This 2 is gonna be my x1. Why is it my x1? Because it's the first x value that I chose. So it's my x1. And then my x2, I'm gonna need to fill that in. And then we have also y1. Now my y1 is gonna be what?
8. I mean 1.
1. So y1 is gonna be 1. And then my x2 is gonna be what?
8.
8.
8.
And my y2 is gonna be what?
5.
5.
5. Very good. 5. Okay, so now we're ready to go. So the slope is equal to.
Can I interject?
Go ahead.
So why are the what you call it now at the bottom of the x's and y's exponents?
Okay, we don't call them exponents. We call them subscripts. Okay,
Subscripts. Okay, this is a new thing. So it's a
Yeah.
good thing I asked you because I never saw it like that before.
Yeah.
Subscripts.
Yeah, so we call them
Okay.
subscripts. Yeah. The only reason why we call them the only reason why we have them is to for distinguishing purposes. That means like we only do it so that we could know which x we're talking about. So since this 2 was the first x for my first point, I use x1. And since this 8 was the second x value for my second point, then I use x2. So
I got you.
yeah, so the difference between the 1 and the 2 is just for me to distinguish which one I'm talking to. Because both of them are x values. Just that this one was the
Right.
first one and this one is the second one. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, great question. Okay, so it's going to be divided by x2 minus x1. That's going to be equal to okay, so what is that? What is y2?
5 minus 1.
5, good. So y2 is 5. What is y1?
1.
1.
Wait. Yeah.
1, very good. What is x2?
8.
8.
8.
And what is x1?
2.
2.
Good. It's going to be equal to, what is 5 minus 1?
4.
4. And what is 8 minus 2?
6.
6.
6. Can we simplify further?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. By 2.
Well, now we could use
By 2.
so divide top and bottom by 2.
2.
Yes. So it's going to be 4 divided by 2 and 6 divided by 2.
2 3.
It's going to be equal to, what is 4 divided by 2?
2.
2 over 3.
And then what is 6 divided by 2?
3.
3. And so it is
2 over 3.
okay.
Quick question, Mr. Petit.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. When I did mine, I had to use the first 2 columns, but I can't simplify it like how that one is simplified. So what's the issue?
When you use -7 and -5 and
Yeah,
-2.5 and
but I was trying to find a way to simplify it.
okay, so let's do that. So first take this one down. Remember I said that any 2 could work. So
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna show you how to make it with the negatives. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, take this down for me, please. And then when you have it done, please send a picture of it to me so that I can see that you're following along. Abigail. Welcome, Abigail and Colin Sean. Felt like I haven't seen Abigail in forever. But definitely welcome. Glad to have you. I've been missing those pretty notes that you always do. So I'm glad that you're here, Abigail. Yeah, so let's do it with, are we done with writing this?
Yes, sir.
You said yes?
Yes, sir. Someone say no. Also in the chat.
Someone said no. Okay. Once you're done with it, just send me a picture of it in the WhatsApp chat. I really like to see your notes. So let me know when I could move it, please.
Come move it.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Miss Cooper. Sorry, thank you, Miss Reckley. Miss Reckley, I love your notes here. You already say, okay, now it's time for the negative example. All right.
I put that there so I can understand what I doing when I revise it.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Wow. Okay, so let's do the in Miss Reckley's words, negative example. All right. So -2. It's gonna be -2. And then this is 5. So -2 and 5. Okay, good. Okay, so we're gonna use the first two, right? So it's gonna be -7 and -5. This one, right? Miss Nancy, this one?
Yeah, sure.
And then this one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. So with this one, so the associated coordinates is gonna be yes. So with this one, the associated point or the associated coordinates is gonna be -7 and -5. So -7 and -5. And this one is gonna be -2.5 and -2. Okay, so based on this, can someone tell me what would be my x1?
-7.
-7. Because it's the first x value that I chose. -7. It's going to be my y1.
-2.
-2.5, right? Good.
I thought you say y.
Oh, gee, thank you so much. I didn't realize that I was making a horrible mistake. It's going to be -5, thank you. -5, because it's y. Thank you so much, Ms. Cooper. -5. And then we have x2, which is the second x value,
-2.5.
-2.5. Then we have y2, which is the second y value, so it's -2. Okay, all right, so with that being said, we can use our slope formula. So the slope is going to be equal to y2 minus y1 all divided by x2 minus x1. And that's going to be equal to, well, what is y2?
-2.
We said that that's a -2. Now I'm going to use a different color so we can make a distinction. It's going to be minus, right? Minus, open bracket. What is my y1?
-5.
-5. Divided by. So this is -2. That's the y2 right there. Minus, right? Minus y1. Y1 is -5. So we have a double negation going on here. Okay. So x2 is going to be what? -2.5 minus open bracket x1, which is -7. So quick recap, we know that we're trying to figure what is the slope. The slope formula is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. We know that y2 is the second y value, which is -2, and that's going to be minus y1, which is the first y value, which we saw was -5. And so basically this y value minus this y value. And then for the second one, it's going to be x2 minus x1. So it's going to be -2.5 minus -7. So x2 minus x1. This is going to be equal to -2. We know that a negative and a negative gives us a what? A negative times a negative is
Positive.
A positive.
Positive.
so +5 divided by a negative times a negative is what?
Positive.
Positive. So that's -2.5 plus 7. And so if you have $5 and you owe $2, how much you still have?
3.
Say it again. You still have
$3.
$3.
right? And if you have $7 and you owe 2.5, how much you still have?
9.5.
9.5? Can't be 9.5. You have to pay the people.
4.5.
You have to pay the people the 250.
Oh, I see.
4.5.
4.5. Okay, so this is 3 divided by 4.5. What is 3 divided by 4.5?
1.5.
What is 3 divided by 4.5?
-2/3.
Not negative.
1.5.
No, sir. What is 3 divided by 4.5?
I get 2/3 though.
Positive 2 over 3.
Positive 2/3.
Yeah, that's correct. So it's going to be positive 2 over 3. Now, in your calculator, if you put it in your calculator, it'll give you 0.666 and continuing. All right, so that's, and we know that 0.6666 is 2 over 3. All right.
When I divide by hand, I get 1.5.
We got 1.5. Now there's a way for me to show you how to do it by hand for you to really get the 2/3. Let me show you how to do that. So we have 3 divided by 4.5, which equals to this infinitesimal. We know that this infinitesimal 0.666 is actually 2/3. So that's how we get the 2/3. You understand, Nancy?
Yes, I just writing down my error right now.
First one is better.
Yeah.
I don't like the negative one.
Yeah.
No, because in the calculator, you see how you put them in brackets? I'm putting them in brackets in the calculator because you can't just use our calculator, but it was coming out negative, like how you have a +3. It wasn't giving me a +3. Yeah, and even when I do it again in my calculator, it gave me negative 4.5. So I guess I gotta do it by hand. I figured. I don't know.
Yeah, so make sure simplify it first. So negative and negative becomes positive. Make sure I do that. Negative and negative is positive. Now someone may be asking, why is 3 divided by 4.5? 0.66. Why is it 2/3? There's a way to answer that. And let me show you. If we have 3 divided by 4.5, I just want to show you how to do it, like how to actually show that. So 3 divided by 4.5 actually is 3. We know that 4.5 is 4.5. You know that, right? Because 4.5 is 0.5 is a half. So this is 4.5. Okay? Do we understand that?
Yes, sir.
So this is basically 3 divided by 4.5. Now 4.5, we can change that into a mixed number. So we can change that into a improper fraction by doing what? By
Alternating 2 and then add.
By simply saying 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Then we add 1. So 8 plus 1 is going to be 9. And then we keep the denominator, which is 2. Okay? And so what we have here is going to be, again, 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. So it's going to be 9/2. And so what this means is this is saying 3/1 divided by, because that's what this fraction bar is. That's what that fraction bar means. Divided by. So this fraction bar right here means division. So we're saying 3/1 divided by 9/2. Now this is going to be equal to, remember what we do when we divide in fractions. How do we divide fractions? What do we do?
Auto multiplication and make the reciprocal of 9/2 to 2/9.
Very good. So we change the sign to a positive. Sorry, we change the division sign to a multiplication sign, and we flip the 2/9. So if we flip the 9/2 to 2/9, this is going to be equal to, what is 3 times 2?
6.
6. And what is 1 times 9?
9.
9. What could we divide this by?
3.
3.
3.
Very good. It's divided by 3. Divided by 3. What is 6 divided by 3?
2. 2/3.
And what is 9 divided by 3?
3.
3. Very good. Okay, so that's the answer, 2/3. So now you see why I picked the positive ones, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So be smart. we know that both of them gonna give us the 2/3, but we know that either one of them would give us 2/3. We know that both of them is gonna give us 2/3, but we have to use the positive ones. The positive one was way easy and straightforward. We see that, right?
Yes, sir.
But the negative one, we had to do all sort of interesting switch this, switch that. But the negative one, do it for practice. I would say do it for practice. Like choose this one and this one for practice, just to see that just to practice your math, just to make sure that you are getting just to help you with practicing math. But in the actual exam, go the easy way. Don't stress yourself out. Use the positive ones. Okay. All right. So let me know which part to move. Should I go back? Should I go forward? All right. Are we done with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please send in a note for me. Let me see what you have. Especially those persons who are not commenting, who are not speaking, please make sure send in the pictures of your notes so I can see what you're doing and where you're at. Please make sure that you're not on WhatsApp posting status while in class, especially if I have your number, because I could see your status too. Just saying. All right, so let's go. So this is 2/3. So that's how we found the slope. So we answered question B, right? Question B where they asked us, say, calculate the slope. Okay. But we were able to know what the slope was already just by looking at it, right? Okay. I don't understand how it's already almost 7 o'clock, but I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna finish this up soon. We're gonna do D. But let us go to a more familiar one, and then we can go back to the graph. Okay, so we already did this person's investment. We talked about Todd and how he had a simple interest stars yesterday. We talked about how Nancy was able to take out all the people money in the ratio 2, 3, and 4, respectively. And so we did this question yesterday. Okay, now we are going to tackle this question. Hopefully, especially for those persons who are taking Bgcse, hopefully you already see the questions that they like to put. They love to put
Yes.
basic weekly pay, like overtime. They love those questions. They love to put we saw before sets, right? So basic weekly pay, make sure know that by heart. Like that's a question that you need to know. You need to know how to do the ratios. That's a given. We need to know how to do. So we may talk basic weekly pay, sets, ratios. What else that I see a lot? The receipt a lot, and of course the geometry. The geometry a lot. But I cannot tell you how much times we did this type of question in class. This is a question that we need that it always keep on coming. Always keep on coming. So make sure you know how to do these.
What's the area of a square?
Say it again.
What's the area of a square? They like find that too.
Oh yeah, just like area. Very good. You make a good point. Area of a square, area of a circle. Area of a shaded region. Like when you have to subtract the two. Like the right now. Sorry. Okay. Welcome, Mosquito. Okay, so let's continue on. Okay, so this is Raymond. Raymond earns $12 per hour when he works a basic week of 40 hours. I understand that they're trying to change the minimum wage. Anyone know to what? I didn't follow up to see what it's gonna be. What I had, I heard that. At least I saw it in the newspaper, I think. So I don't know if they're gonna go through with it. Anyone know news concerning that? Or heard news concerning that?
Also,
No.
Cool. But they plan on changing it too.
No.
Okay, I don't know what it is.
You know?
No, I don't know.
Oh.
Anyway, Raymond earns $12 per hour when he works a basic week of 40 hours. Calculate his basic weekly pay. Okay, so what are we gonna do here?
Multiply.
So his basic, excuse me. So his basic weekly pay is gonna be equal to number of hours worked. Anyway, let me not do all that. It's gonna be equal to 40 multiplied by, because we know it's a 40-hour work week. Right, 40 hours multiplied by $12. That's the amount that he got for that's the $12 the amount that he got for per hour. Okay, so this means he working 40 hours and he getting $12 per hour. So his basic weekly pay is going to be 40 times 12. Okay, and what is 40 times 12?
480.
480.
$480. Okay, so we getting $480. That's his basic weekly pay. $480. Okay, pretty simple. I'm not but that. Next up is overtime is paid at time and a half. Calculate how much he's paid for 1 hour overtime. How are we gonna do this? Time and a half. Anyone remember? What did we say?
1.5.
What are you gonna do?
1.5 times 12.
1.5 times 12. Very good. Why 1.5?
Does it time and a half?
They say time and a half. What if they say double time?
times it by 2.
Times by 2. What if they say what if they say time and a quarter?
Times it by 1.25.
Very good. Times it by 1.25. So 1 hour overtime is gonna be equal to 1.5. That's time and a half. Multiplied by 12. This is for 1 hour overtime. And what do we get? What do we get? 1.5 times 12.
18.
18. Very good. There's another way that we could do this. Remember we said that it's time and a half. So we can say that we can take his, when they say time, they mean that what he get in 1 hour, so that's 12, plus half of what he get in an hour. So what is half of 12?
6.
6.
So time and a half is going to be 12 plus 6, which is what?
18.
18. So this is another way to do it. Okay? You can either do it this way, or you could do it this way. Which way you think is easier?
The plus sign way, but I might forget, so I pick in the first way.
Yeah, that's fine. You could always you could use one method or the other. It's good to know two methods so that you can know, so that like when you're doing your work over, you could check. That's why I like two methods. Like you could go over and say, okay, let me try it this way, and then check and see if my answer right. So that's the thing. Okay, so let me know when I can move this, or if I can move it.
I got it.
You got it. She says that she got it.
Hola, Miss Petit.
Okay. Are you good, Ricardo?
I have it now.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so we know that. So far, what do we know? We know that in a week he get paid $480, and we know that overtime he gets paid for 1 hour of overtime. He get paid $18. Okay. All right. So let's move on. So it's gonna be now. So let's move on to the other one, the other part. It says,
Elizabeth, what you said the sound my stuff was muted.
oh, I just was reviewing what we just did. Saying how did we get those values? Now, during a certain week, Raymond worked 5 hours of overtime in addition to his basic weekly hours. So calculate his total pay for that week. Okay.
498.
490. How you getting that already? I literally just finished reading. Wow. I don't know.
I was working it ahead of you.
Oh, he's working that. Okay. Okay, so a certain week, Raymond worked 5 hours overtime in addition to his basic. So they want his total pay. Okay, so total pay is going to be equal to what he got for his basic pay. So basic pay, basic weekly pay, plus what? Plus what he get for how much hours of overtime did he work? Plus 5 hours of overtime.
Wow, 5 hours overtime. That changes everything.
Yeah. So total pay is going to be equal to, what is his basic weekly pay?
480.
480. And how much hours of overtime did he work?
5.
5. And then how much he's get paid per hour?
18. So you had the times there.
Yes, we have the times it very good by 18. Okay, so his total pay is going to be equal to 480. Let me put the money sign here. It's going to be equal to 480 plus 5 times 18. So 480 plus 5 times 18. So what is 5 times 18?
90.
$90.
90.
Yes, ma'am. So his total pay is going to be equal to $480 plus 90, which gives us what?
170.
Say it again. How much it is?
570.
$507. Very good. So that's his total pay. $570. So is he looking good? Is Raymond looking good at the end of the week?
No, yeah,
You
yeah.
find a different job, but it's a nice pay.
It's a nice pay? Okay. Alright. $507. $570 he leaves with at the end of the week.
What his job was?
They didn't say. They didn't say.
Oh,
They didn't say. Let me see. Yeah, they didn't tell us. They didn't just say. Let me see if they gave us any idea with the picture. Oh. He looks like he's a what?
oh,
He look like a mechanic?
yeah.
He look like a maintenance man to me. Like, yeah, he look like a maintenance person. But something of that sort. So there we go. So his total pay is $570. Any questions on how we got the answers? Let me know. Don't be shy. So no questions at all? Isn't on this?
Familiar.
Familiar or unfamiliar?
Familiar.
Familiar. Very familiar.
Really familiar. So really familiar. Alright, that's good. So basically 7 o'clock. So let me take the register. Abigail, Ashnet, Collins, I don't see none from you. Destiny, for Nargo, can you send me something? Haley, I haven't received any notes from you. Javin Colley, can you send me some notes? Michaela Maki, can you send me some notes as well? Nathaniel Miller, I don't have no notes from you. Chantel Sanders, I don't have no notes from you. And Treasure Hepburn, I don't have any notes from you. So you all who I have mentioned, please send in some notes for today so that I can know that you're here and following along, because I cannot see you behind the screen. All right, so 570, so that's pretty good. So next up we are going to, that's it for that total pay. Nothing else. Okay, so that's it for that particular question. All right, so let's go back to our graph. So the next thing that they asked us to do on this graph is they said, hey, another graph which has the equation y equals to 3. Draw this graph on the same coordinate plane. So we have another graph we have to draw. It's y equals to 3. And they're saying draw this graph on the same coordinate plane. So first of all, when we see y is equal to 3, what is that telling us? What does that mean? What does that mean?
A line going straight across 3 on the y-axis.
Say it again.
I mean, a line going through the y-axis.
I still trying to
3.
understand.
A line going horizontal on the y-axis on 3.
A line going, you mean from side to side?
Yeah, horizontal.
Very good. So y equals to 3. If we have a line y equals to 3, what they're telling us. So this means that if you have y equals to 3, this means that, so this means that they want you to draw a horizontal line. I should capitalize this, horizontal line. So if it's y equals to something, we know it's a horizontal line. And by horizontal, we mean what?
Side to side.
From side to side. So they want you to draw a horizontal line that's from side to side. All right, through the number 3 on which axis?
Y.
Y. Okay, so that's what, let me say y equals to 3. What do we mean? They're telling us that they want us to draw a horizontal line. Oh, I didn't say horizontal line. So they want us to draw a horizontal line through the number 3 on the y-axis. That's what they mean by horizontal. And if it's y equals to 4, they want us to draw a horizontal line, a line that goes from side to side through 4 on the y-axis. If it was y equals to 5, it would be the same thing, a horizontal line, a line that goes from side to side through 5 on the y-axis. So you're going to take our graph as before. We're going to take our graph that we have, and we're going to draw
We using that same one?
the same graph. Yes, that's what they said. The same graph. Okay, so on the same graph, we have to draw a horizontal line that goes through 3. So insert. I'll draw a line that goes to 3 on the y-axis. So this one goes to 3. Good. I'm going to use a different color to represent it. Say red. Should we use red? I'll say a color that stands out. Let's use this color. So let me thicken it so you can actually see what's happening. Okay, so that's good. So can we see it?
Yes, sir.
The line, sorry. Put it on the side. So this is the line. This is a line y is equal to 3. So it's a line that goes through the y-axis, side by side, through 3. Okay, so that's very important. Through 3. Okay, so let's label it. So when we label it, we're going to label it y is equal to 3. So we can label it right here, y equals to 3. That's the line y equals to 3 right now. Alright, are we clear on this line? And how we got it?
Yes, sir.
Any questions based on how we got that line and what we did?
Nope.
No, I only heard from one person. I'm not talking to one person now.
Oh, it's pretty clear for me.
Let's predict.
Yes, sir.
Can we write y equals 3 inside or anywhere?
Okay, you could write it here. This will be fine here too. You could write it here, right? But you cannot write it so far from the graph. So you can't write it here, right? You want to write it someplace close to the line, right? So anywhere around here is good. But you do not want to do it far away from the graph. Like you don't want to put it here. You don't want to put it here. You want to put it here. You don't want to put it here. You don't want to put it here. Like you want it to be close so that they know what line you're talking about. Is that clear?
Okay. Then go back on the question, please.
Okay, no problem. So we only need one labeling. That's important. One label. So this is the line that we draw. We draw the line y is equal to 3. So someone asked me to go back to the question. So the question was, this is D. Another graph is drawn. Sorry, another graph has the equation y equals to 3. Draw this graph on the same coordinate plane, on the same one, right, Ms. Cooper? The same one. That's
Yes, sir.
I didn't get to write that part of the question, that's why I didn't see it.
Oh, okay. So thank you, Miss Avernick.
You want to see a picture of this?
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. All right, next up.
We're done right now.
Next up is, let's finish up. Yeah, it says, write down. Now, notice it didn't say, I don't want to give it away, but they say write down. They didn't say calculate in this case, right? So calculate, you want to use the formula, right? Write down, they don't want you to use the formula, okay? They just expect you to know it. So write down the gradient or the slope of the graph in D. Okay, so what is the gradient or slope of the graph in D? Anyone knows? What's the slope of this line y is equal to 3?
1.
1.
1/1.
No.
0.
You asking or you telling me? What is the slope of?
0.
You say 0. You asking me or you telling me it's 0?
I am unsure.
You unsure. You say you are unsure or you sure?
I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, not sure. Okay, so remember, you all have to study. We did this before. If we have y is equal to 3, we can write that as y is equal to 0x plus what? Plus 3.
So it is 0.
And remember we said that the slope is the number in front of
The
the x. What's the number in front of the x?
0.
0. So the slope is 0. And someone may say, well, why we put 0x plus 3? Well, 0x is nothing. Like 0x is 0 times x, and 0 times x is nothing. That's 0. So this is saying the same thing as this. I only wrote it like this so that you can see clearly that the number in front of x is 0. Okay? But you could write directly here that the slope is 0. Right? But if you want to do this, that's fine. So with any horizontal line, right? With any horizontal line, the slope is 0. So this is a horizontal line going from side to side. It does not have an inclination. It doesn't have a slope. It doesn't have a steepness. You see that? It doesn't have no incline. It's 0. Like it's flat. Like it don't have no, like you're not climbing the stairs. You're just walking on flat ground. See what I'm saying? So its slope is 0. So just make a note of that. All horizontal lines, all horizontal has a slope of what?
0.
So all horizontal lines have a slope of 0. Now, if the line is vertical, right? Let me just make another note. They didn't ask us for this, right? But if the line is vertical, let me say vertical, what do we mean?
Up and down.
up and down. Very good. But if the line is vertical, then the slope, what could we say about the slope if the line is vertical?
1.5.
No.
90 degrees.
No.
What?
The slope is, if the line is vertical, that means up and down, then the slope is what we say. We say the slope is undefined. There is no slope.
Explain.
Say explain.
Please.
I hope that Miss Cooper saying explain because we did this like 100 times.
That was
Okay. But yes, it's undefined because if you look at a vertical line goes up and down, right? So this is our line right there. So remember that slope is equal to, the definition of slope basically is rise divided by run. That's the definition of slope. So the slope is equal to change in y, so we say delta y, divided by change in x, so we say delta x, right? So the slope is equal to a change in y and a change in x. So if we look at this line, right, let's say we is looking at this point and this point, we can clearly see that if, let's say if this was say 5, let's say that this was say 2, we can clearly say that, hey, we have a change in y, like we moved from 5 to 2, like there's a change in y, so we can say 5 minus 2, okay? But run means how much did it go across. So run is how much did it go across, okay? Now the question is, if we have a straight line going up and down, did it go across?
No, sir.
No, sir.
It has no run, right? So its run is what? 0.
0.
0.
We have 5 minus 2, which is 3, divided by 0. Now put this in your calculator. Put 3 divided by 0 in your calculator. Go ahead. Let me know what you get.
Error.
Error, right? Because 3 can't be divided by 0. In maths, we have not defined division by 0. So it's undefined. Okay, so that's why we say that. So it has no slope.
It's a bit clearer.
It's a bit okay. All right. Okay, so vertical lines, any vertical line, no slope. Its slope is undefined. Horizontal lines, slope of 0. Those are 2 things that you need to know. All right. Any questions from anyone?
Don't move, Mr. Pradeep.
Come over. One moment. Let me just add this person. Welcome, Mr. Jonathan. Where is Lionel? Where's Lionel Jonathan? Say it again.
I got him. I know he is. I know he is.
I have it.
Okay, that's good. Any other questions for me based on this? No? But I really want to, for those persons who have not sent me any notes for the day, for the night, not those persons who have sent notes, for those persons who have not sent anything, see what you've written. So please send me them. For those persons who have not sent in anything yet, and you know who you are, please.
My source phone, huh?
Okay, so here, write down the coordinates of the point where the graphs intersect. When we say intersect, what do we mean? Where the graphs,
Crossover.
where they cross over, what's another word we could use? Where the graphs,
Meet or
where
touch.
they meet, yeah, where they touch. Okay, so we want the coordinates where the graphs intersect. Which graph?
Intersect or connect.
Connect, yeah. Which graphs we talking about?
They mean y equal to 3 and y is equal to 2x minus 1 over 3.
So they're talking about y is equal to 3, this line, and also this line here. We want where they touch, where they meet. Okay? What's the coordinate where they meet?
5, 3.
5, 3.
5, 3. Let's see. So they meet here, right? So this is the point where they meet. So if we zoom in, this is the point where they meet right here. So the point where they meet is 5 on the x and 3 on the y. So 5, 3. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The point where they meet is 5, 3.
Can you finish that again, please?
No problem. This is the intersection point. This is 5, 3. And please, in the exam, do not just label it on the graph. They said right there, they said clearly, write down. That means put it underneath the question. So put 5, 3 here. A lot of my students did that and they got it wrong. So
I have a question.
Put it there, yes, mom.
So what if where they intersect like was past 5, you'd put like 5.1 or 2?
Yeah, if it was yes, you would do that. But here it's clear, so we didn't have to do that. Very good, Conrad. Very good. I'm impressed. Very good, Conrad.
Could I see the question again?
Write down the coordinates of the point where the graphs end.
Yes, thanks. Yes.
No problem. Okay, let me know when we finish with that.
I got it.
Okay.
I have it.
I think
Yes, sir.
it's a good thing. He
Yes,
said
sir.
he didn't join because he said by his cousin house. And his internet ain't that good.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
You could send me the video for this class, please.
I always send them to your mother. So ask her to send it to you because it's easier because she have a phone. So yeah, ask her to send them to you.
That's all.
Okay, so we are done with this question, right?
Yes.
Very good. So we have plotted up all the points. So we have determined the missing values. We saw what it means for x to be between -8 and 10. We draw the graph of the line y is equal to 2x minus 3. We found the slope. We determine how to draw the line y is equal to 3. That's simply a horizontal line. We saw the slope of this, and we wrote down the coordinates. Notice how much points you get for this. Let's count. This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 whole points. So imagine if you do not know how to do this. Right? So if you come in the exam not knowing how to do this, that's a whole lot of points you're missing. Okay, so make sure that you know how to do it and you're doing it properly. Because that's 10 points. Few questions is give 10 points. You know what I mean? So know if it's one thing you study, my Bgcse students, study graphing, please. All right, especially for paper 2. This is also big points too. This one is sine rule. This is how much? Again, 10 points. So if one thing you know graphing and know sine rule. Okay, so let's go back to our familiar questions.
You say non-familiar?
Familiar.
Familiar.
Okay. Oh, child. All right, so should we do the graphing? Should we?
It reminds me of 140 math.
We should do it.
We should do it. All right, Ms. Cooper, since you said that, we should do it. Ms. Cooper say we should do it. So let's do it. It says, draw and label the line PQ, 8 centimeters. Then use a pair of compass and a ruler only to construct an angle of 60 degrees at P, 3 points. Draw an angle of 40 degrees at Q, and then complete and label the diagram to form the triangle PQR. So for this, this is also graphing of some sort. This is 5, 6, 7, 8 points. Imagine.
There's a whole essay question points.
Yeah. So you have to know how to be able to graph. So that carry a lot of weight in both exams. So make sure you know how to graph. So let's do this. So we have to draw the line PQ, 8 centimeters. All right. So it's gonna be construction, or we could say construction. We're gonna go to construction tools. Okay, so geometry, I should say geometry. All right, there we go. So we need to draw a line. And the line is going to be, it's going to be 8 centimeters, right?
Let's see, I guess so. That was easy.
So 4 centimeters, this have to be 8 centimeters, right? So, okay, so let's put it right here, like so. It has to be 8 centimeters, so let's see, it's going to start at 8.
First one was easy.
You ready to draw it? So you're going to start at 8. And then we're gonna, sorry, you can start at 0 and go all the way to 8. 8 centimeters. That's 8 centimeters. Y'all give me that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 8 centimeters. So you start at 0 and go all the way down to 8 centimeters. We're gonna label the first part of it. We're gonna label that what?
P.
Very good.
And the NQ.
And then label the N, Q. Okay, so please take out your ruler, compass, and protractor for this one. So then next thing we gotta label the line.
We gotta put ACM on it.
I'll have to put 8 centimeters as a part of it. Very good. 8 centimeters. Make sure I label it. Alright, 8 centimeters. So this is PQ. Next up, use a pair of compasses and a ruler only to construct an angle of 60 degrees at P. So we're going to construct a 60-degree angle at P. So the first thing we're going to do is get a compass. There we go. We're going to stick our compass. We're going to extend this a little bit. Not too much, because we don't want it to be too big. We're going to lock it. Alright. Now we're going to draw an arc. Alright. Draw an arc. Come down a bit more. Come down a bit more. So you're going to draw an arc. Good. Then we're going to keep it locked. And we're going to go to this side. The same space where the line PQ intersects with the arc that we just formed. And then we're going to cut the arc that we just formed with another arc. And so there we go. Right, so that should be 60 degrees right there. And they say that construct an angle of 60 degrees. Okay, good. So we form 60 degrees. But we have to extend it. So we're gonna start from P and cut straight through this line. Okay, so I don't know how long to go. It doesn't matter. Right now, we're just gonna go as long as we need to go. Right there is good.
Mr. Petit, quick question. You didn't measure anything before you did your arc, right?
No, I just give it an eyeball. I don't want it to be too big, so do it a little less than half of the line.
Question: how would you know, like, when you go on an exam? Because I know everything is different.
In the exam, you also eyeball it. There's no precise thing. You just don't want to make it. The rule of thumb is that you don't want it to be so close here. You want it to be like I said, a little less than half of your line. Okay, so our line is 8 centimeters, so this here should be probably like 4 or something, 4 something. So you don't want it. You want it to be just like this, like half of your line or a little less than half of your line. So you want your arc to cut half of your line or a little less than half of your line. Does that make sense, Ms. Cooper?
And the accept it, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then once your arc cuts half of your line or less than half of your line, then you do the same thing. Excuse me. So the first thing we did, we went here. We drew our line from here all the way to there. Then we went to this point and we cut it. Okay. And then we just simply draw the line straight through it. Now we got to use, what do we have to use to measure to see if it's accurate? What's the instrument that we call to use to measure to see if the line, if the
Protractor.
Protractor. Very good. So we're going to get our protractor. Excuse me. We're going to place it at P. Is that 60 degrees? Does it pass through 60? Does it pass through 60?
Yes, sir.
Very good. It does pass through 60. And did anyone else got the 60-degree angle?
Yeah.
Mine's got 50.
That's good. So 60 degrees. Okay, so now that we have the 60-degree angle at P, what is the next thing that we're gonna do? Anyone knows?
Draw an angle.
Not yet. What we first have to do is we have to label this, right? So let's label it 60 degrees. Okay, so now that we have that label, that's good. Now what we want to do is we want to draw an angle of 40 degrees at Q. So you have to go to Q and draw. So they use the word draw right now. So that means that we have to use what? Since they say draw it.
Free-handed?
Not free-handed, no. They say draw.
Ruler?
Yeah, we always use roller, but we have to use a
Protractor? Measure.
protractor.
Get 40 degrees first.
Yes, so we have to use a protractor. So when they say construct, there's a difference. So when they say construct, we have to use what instrument?
Protractor.
No. If they say construct,
Compass.
compass. Yes. So if they say construct, let me just get that out of the way. These terminology. So if they say construct, they want you to use your compass and ruler. If they say draw, they want you to use your protractor and ruler. Okay, so it's important to know the difference between construct and draw.
So, Mr. Badi. So, what bisect too? The word bisect, what it means?
Bisect. Okay, bisect. In order to bisect something, you always use a compass. So that's bisect. You know, you're using a compass and a ruler. Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Potato. Question.
Well,
Okay, my 8 centimeters line, it has to be straight as possible.
yes.
Straight, like, straight.
Straight. Like just like our mine's straight. What happened to yours? You're on slanted, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could cause some problems. You want it to be straight. Make sure you use a ruler to get it to be straight. So we got our geometry terminology, right? Construct means the compass and the ruler. Protractor, draw means protractor and ruler. If they say bisect, you go up to bisect using a compass and a ruler. So that's a given. Okay, next up is good. So it is going to be let's see something. Okay, we good. All right, so the next thing that they want us to do is they want us to go to Q and draw 40 degrees. So when we go to Q, we move this compass and we move this ruler. So when we go to Q, we have to draw in 40 degrees. Now 40, we have to look at the outer one, the numbers on the outer, right? So the outer, so this is 0, this is 10, this is 20, this is 30, and this is 40, okay? So this is 40 right there. So we have to go to this one and mark out 40. So you have to mark out 40 right now. So you have to be very careful. So that's 40 right there. No, that's not it quite. Let me really do it. It's gonna be more so right here. So 40 should be more so in the middle there. Okay, so after already make that mark, then you're gonna get your ruler. Sorry, you're gonna get your ruler, and you're gonna start at Q and draw a line straight through it. Okay. Okay. All right. So connect those two, please, and give me 2 minutes. I come right back. Okay, so did we get it?
Yes, sir.
You say yes. Okay, so let's draw this line, connecting it. All right. Should stop right there. Oh, I really don't like how that look. Okay, so let's do it. I want to start from the beginning. So let's start from here. Okay, let me increase it a bit more. So if we could start from here, and we gotta increase this also to get a good angle there. So this should be, let me increase it a little bit more. Good, so let's see how that gives us stuff. So that we start right, so we'll start from Q and ascend all the way up. All right, so boom. So it crosses. All right, so I hate how that look, I really do. Let me just do a regular line segment. So we're gonna start from here.
We crossing it over the one from.
Yeah, we're crossing over with this one, so it's gonna be like this. All right, so basically you're gonna use a ruler and start from Q and draw it all the way to cut. Okay, but me, I use the line segment tool to get it. So now let's label. Let's check to see if this is 40, and it's very close. It's like 39, if I want to be honest. Yeah, it's 40 is a little bit more higher. Okay.
So they would give it to you once it ain't too far off, hey?
Yeah, once it ain't too far off. Because this one is technically 39, if I be honest. So 39 is 35, 36, 37, 38,
Yeah, that's 30.
39. No, this is, you might as well say it's 39 point some. It's basic, it's very close to 40. It ain't even 39 because it's 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. It's very close to 40. It's like 39.5 something. So that'll work. We could call it 40. So it's gonna be 40 degrees. So 40 degrees. So Q is 40. All right. All right.
Can you go back to that, please?
No problem. Did they tell us what to label it? O, P, Q, R. Okay. So they tell us to label the complete and label the triangle to form. So I complete and label the diagram to form. You see, they give you the symbol. It's a triangle. So we have to so that means that we had to construct a triangle, and they said that we have to label it P, Q, R. So we already have P, we already have Q. So which one will be R?
The top point.
The top point. Very good. The top point. So this is R. So P, Q, R. All right. There's more. All right. So it's P, Q, R. Any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. So next up. So we okay. Good. So complete the diagram to form that. Okay. Good. Any questions on that?
You want
You can leave it as a few minutes. I can write the questions.
Okay. No problem. All right. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
You say yes?
Yes, sir.
You say that so fast. You say yes or no?
No.
Oh no. Okay.
And the last one.
Okay, and the last one.
Right there.
You done? Okay, good.
Mr. Badi,
So
can you go back on the terms, please?
turn. Oh, okay.
I have it.
Okay, that's good. All right, so let's move forward. So there's gonna be um Okay, next up we have, okay, so we just finished that. So we just finished the geometry part of that. Now I think we could move on because we already finished this one. We skip the transformation for now. Okay, so this one is very, very, very important. And it's important that you understand how to do these type of questions. These are what we call trigonometry questions. And so here they usually ask you questions involving Pythagoras Theorem and questions involving the sine rule. This comes up a lot. Like it comes so much. It's like you have to know how to do these ones. Okay, so make sure you're very familiar with questions like these. So let's do it. So how much triangles do we see in the picture?
2,
3.
3.
that's like 3. 3 or 2. No, 2.
Okay, so it's only 2. The biggest one
Said 2.
and the smaller one. Okay, I didn't say you were wrong, Miss Cooper. I didn't say you were wrong before you.
But them extra lines in the back of that.
The extra lines, that's a graph, like a printing thing. Right?
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so the first question is, so it's very important that we obey their rules. Calculate giving your answer correct to 1 decimal place. So you want to figure what is the length of TC. Okay, so calculate giving your answer correct to 1 decimal place, the length of TC. All right, so we want the length of TC. All right. So the diagram shows the transmission over TB of height 25.2 meters, topped with an antenna 80. The point C is 18.9 meters from B, and the angle of elevation at C to the top of the antenna is 56. Calculate, giving your answer correct to 1 decimal place, the length of TC. So the length of TC is, I'm going to highlight that. That's going to be this length, right? Now, in which triangle is this one? Is this in the bigger triangle or the smaller triangle?
Which one?
The length TC.
Smaller?
It's in the smaller triangle. So we have to consider the smaller triangle and the values dealing with the smaller triangle. Okay, so this is the length TC. And so we have to determine what is this length, the length in red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in on this line, on this triangle TC. So this triangle TBC, and so I'm going to zoom in on it. So I'm only going to be drawing the smaller one. So if I draw the smaller one, it's going to be this. Okay, so it's going to be a right angle, right? What is the length of this side?
90 degrees.
90 degrees.
No, the length of the side.
Oh, 25.2.
25.2.
25. Meters. And what is the length of the bottom?
90. 18.9.
18.9. So it'll be 18.9 meters. All right, so we want to figure out this missing side. All right, TB. So this is B, This is T. And this is C.
I think my answer, my formula could be wrong, but I'm gonna try. I think you have to add the 25.2 to the 18.9. Then your sum will be have to be subtracted to 180.
Subtracted from 180. No, but close though. Very close. Very close. Very, very close. Anyone else? How do we do this?
25.2 squared plus 18.9 squared. Then you got to square the answer you get for them. You got to square it.
We use when we're trying to figure out the hypotenuse, so wouldn't we use like to find the hypotenuse? Wouldn't it be adjacent over opposite to get? I think I'm more.
There's an easier way to do that. I think Ricardo was heading in the right direction. What we're gonna use is we're gonna use Pythagoras Theorem. Okay. Now Pythagoras Theorem says that c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. That's Pythagoras Theorem. C squared is equal to b squared. Sorry, c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared, where c is the length of the longest side, or the hypotenuse. So what is the longest side? What is the longest side?
25.2.
The hypotenuse. So that'll be
side. That would be what? This side.
Hypotenuse.
TC is the longest side. So that's C. Sorry. So C is that side TC. So A is always the adjacent. So that's gonna be A here. The one below the 90 degrees. And then B is the opposite. It's the side that is opposite the given angle. So this is B. So c squared remains the same. We don't know what that is. Now, what is A? What is A?
18.9.
It'll be 18.9 to the power of what?
Second power.
2.
Plus, what is B squared? What is
25.
25.2.
Very good. 25.2 to the power of what?
2.
The power of 2. So c squared is going to be equal to what is 18.9 squared? So we have to actually go on our calculator. But it basically is 18.9 times 18.9, right? That's what it is. So scientific calculator. Plus 18.9 squared. What do we get for that? 18.9 squared. Anyone get a result? 18.9 to the power of 2.
320.21.
343.44. So 343.44.
That's the wrong answer.
Just the wrong number between.
What I use?
18.80 euros.
18.8. I supposed to use what? 18.9, right?
That's
Okay,
not.
thank you. 18.9 to the power of 2. 357.21. 357.21. So it's gonna be 3 57.21 plus 25.2 squared what is 25.2 squared? $635.04. So 635.04. 635.04. So c squared is going to be equal to what is 357.21 plus 635.04. So 357.21 plus 635.04. So 357.21 plus 635.04. That's what?
1022.24.
No. That's 9.
992.25.
9.25.
Good.
Is it meter squared?
Oh, yeah.
We ignore the we ignore the units for now.
Yes.
Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to take the square root of both sides. So we take the square root of this side. We take the square root of this side. And so we know that the square root and the square cancel each other. So that we are left with simply what?
See?
See,
Very good. Now what's the square root of 992.25?
31.5.
So the square root, so you have to go in the calculator and determine the square root of 992.25. And that gives us 31.5. This one would be 31.5. This is 31.5. So we can say therefore the length of TC is what?
31.5.
31.5 meters. So the length of this side is 31.5 meters.
Good question.
Uh,
Okay, I didn't recognize I had to use the formula a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So how would you recognize it for like questions like these? Like how would you tell?
how could you tell? Well, that's a
Yeah.
very good question. So we call this Pythagoras theorem. So I just gonna say so Pythagoras. Pythagoras, how do you spell that? Let me see. I can't remember how you spell it. plus PY thigh. Okay, it's AG ORAS. So it's Pythagoras Theorem. And so now one thing about Pythagoras Theorem, I'm going to tell you the criteria. How do you know? So, very good question. So how do you know? How do you know?
I'll get the proof.
Say it again. When to use
I'm
Pythagoras.
gonna go back.
One moment. The first thing is that it's very easy. The first thing is that number one, if it's a right angled triangle, that's the first criteria. So if you're dealing with a right angle triangle, you know you could use Pythagoras theorem, because Pythagoras theorem only works for right angle triangles. It doesn't work for any other triangle. That's very important to note for Pythagoras theorem. The second thing is that if you're trying to determine, so if you are trying to determine missing make sure you might if you're not speaking. If you're trying to determine a missing side, then you could use Pythagoras theorem. Missing side, right, of a triangle, then you know you could use Pythagoras theorem, because the Pythagoras theorem is for missing sides, right? And the major takeaway, the major way that you know, okay, you have to use Pythagoras theorem. Pythagoras theorem is appropriate is that if you are given, that's very important, given two sides of the triangle already. So if you're given two sides of the triangle already, and you're trying to find the missing side, then Pythagoras theorem follows naturally. All right?
Mr. P,
Yes, sir.
the time wrong, right?
My time. My time
It's
is
almost 85.
right. My time is right. Yeah. Yeah. Time, I don't know where the time goes these days. I don't know. You know, I really don't know. I don't know what they're trying to do. Just running away. But is that clear, Nancy? And for the others?
Yes, I just wanna try on that. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. So if you are only given one side, you can't use Pythagoras theorem, because Pythagoras theorem only works when they give you two sides of a triangle. If you are not dealing with a right angle triangle, then you can't use Pythagoras theorem. All right. And also if you are not trying to determine a missing side, so if you're trying to determine like a missing angle, you can't use Pythagoras theorem. Okay, so remember, if you know carefully, they gave us two sides already, and all we're trying to figure out was the missing side. And we know that it's a right angle triangle. There's no easier way to figure out the missing side than to use Pythagoras theorem when they give it to you like that. All right, this is the most straightforward way. Otherwise, you're gonna have to use SOHCAHTOA, and we don't want to do that. I hate SOHCAHTOA. It's just
Explain.
We shouldn't have started.
That was Miss Boy, Miss Bodie, you ain't easy at all.
So you don't have SOHCAHTOA?
Say it again?
You don't have to use SOHCAHTOA if you don't want to?
No, you don't have to use SOHCAHTOA if you don't want to.
Okay.
Yeah. I really can't explain SOHCAHTOA right now. It's 8:06 and it's language time. But SOHCAHTOA is just
Just send it to my WhatsApp and I'll get it.
yeah, so SOHCAHTOA is You don't even need SOHCAHTOA for the Bgcse, honestly. All you need is Pythagoras Theorem, sine rule, and cosine rule. Once you have those three, you're straight. Let me just show you what SOHCAHTOA is. SOHCAHTOA, that's trig ratios. Alright. Okay, so that's just these stuff. So what they're saying is sine of the opposite over the hypotenuse. Sine theta is going to be equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse is, of course, the length of the longest side. No, they have this all mixed up. Let's do this way. This is better. So the hypotenuse is the length of the longest side. So sine, in order to get sine, you will do the opposite over the hypotenuse. In order to get cosine of an angle, you do adjacent over the hypotenuse. In order to get tan, you'll do opposite over adjacent. But you don't have to use these. I was saying that we trying to avoid using this, but this works, but I don't really like it. I just feel like it's useless. When I say useless, what I mean is I just feel like there's an easier way to do it, and so I'm like, why are we doing this way? But yeah, this is how they taught. This is how my teacher taught it to us, and then he showed a sine rule afterwards, and it's like, okay, why didn't you just show a sine rule in the beginning? But that's fine. You could use this, or you could use sine rule, but I think sine rule is way better. And once you have sine rule, like I said, Pythagoras theorem and cosine rule, you should be good to go. But again, this is also another way. So it's also a good way to check, your work. So okay, so that's what I mean when I say SOHCAHTOA.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so let's get into English after that. After all that math, 2 hours. Who does that in real life? Okay.
So,
Alright, so stop presenting. So alright. Okay, so okay, good. So let me share my screen again. So language, finally, I couldn't wait till we get the language. This is like the easier side of town, in my opinion.
Wenches.
Yeah, man, it's the easier side of town. Oh yes, and no one did my homework. Boy, I have no ratings with y'all. None at all.
I was busy, Mr. Reed. I serious.
You're always busy. When it comes to my homework, busy. I need to tell your mommy.
Mr. T, yesterday, when I called, I joined their class. Right when I finished, I had to join their class. I was trying to finish this BJC thing for this woman because she tripping.
Yeah.
I'm serious, and I still didn't finish. I had to today.
I hear you. I hear you. I gave you this for Monday. And she ain't the only one. Anyone else that didn't?
I was busy.
Yeah. You're busying yourself, and my homework ain't getting done. Boy, that's something. Anyone else? Who did the homework at least? Oh boy, this is terrible. Nancy.
I didn't get the words.
Huh?
Not alone.
No. You didn't get the words? Why didn't you get the words, Miss Forty? It was an A.
Because I couldn't see the screen.
What happened? My screen wasn't sharing?
It was, but like the movements were so quick, I couldn't get it. So now I have to try and screenshot stuff before you move it, because if I don't do that, I wouldn't get it.
But what happens after class? What you could do is, if I'm moving too fast at the end, like Ricardo and one of them does, they'd say, okay, Mr. Petit, go to this particular one. Let me take a screenshot when I'm moving too fast. So.
Point well taken.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But these are good good vocabulary words. Very good vocabulary words I wanted you all to look up. Alright, so hopefully when I give you it for this evening, you're gonna have the whole weekend, Miss Cooper. So I don't hear no
What'd you say?
I don't hear no excuse when I give you them this time, because you're gonna have the whole weekend. Alright. Okay.
At least give us 10. You just give us some. What?
I said 10. I said pick 10.
Uh-oh.
I said pick 10. Nancy, what's your excuse? Let me hear this one. Why didn't you do the homework? Is she here? Nancy here?
Mr. Petit,
Yes, sir.
I say, I know you can, you don't take excuses, so
So you did it.
Pardon?
So you did it.
Something like that.
Something like that? Okay, let me see. Send it to me, let me see. Alright. Okay, but next time, please do it. Okay, so... Alright, so let's go. So this one is a next passage, so we're going to be doing questions 11 through 21. And we're going to read, we have to read the two passages. And so it's basically a comparison between the two. We saw something like this before, wherein, you could remember the one we saw like this before, where it was a comparison between the two.
Question.
Remember when we did a question where it was the comparison between the two?
It was
I don't know.
The women working. When men didn't want women to work, they wanted them to stay home. And those are their views on them. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was when we was talking about how they're saying that women shouldn't be involved in politics, and one article was saying that they shouldn't because they are more delicate and they are more nature tells them that they shouldn't do it. And then the other article was against that, saying, hey, it's not because of that, it's because of your policies and stuff like that. And so that was the two, and we're trying to compare the two, and the strengths and weaknesses of one and the arguments of the other and stuff like that. So this is something similar to it. All right, something similar to it. And so let's consider that. Okay. So it says passage 1, so I'm going to read it. It says passage 1 is adapted from Catherine Beecher, Essay on Slavery and Abolitionism. Originally published in 1837, passage 2 is adapted from Angelina E. Germke, Letters to Catherine Beecher. Oh, so it's like one made a statement and then the other one is commented into it. So it's because it says Letters to Catherine Beecher. So the first one was from Catherine Beecher, and then this one seems like it's responding to it. Originally published in 1838. So it's important to recognize the dates and to see what's going on. So the first one was written first, right? And the second one was written in 1837, and the other one was written in 1838. The first one was written by Miss Beecher, and the second one was written by Grimke. Okay? Alright, so originally published in 1838, Grimke encouraged Southern women to oppose slavery publicly. Passage 1 is Beecher's response to Grimke's views. Passage 2 is Grimke's response to Beecher. Okay. So in passage 1, Beecher is responding to Grimke. In passage 2, Grimke is responding to Beecher. Okay.
The two different views.
It seems. I don't know. We don't know. At least I don't know. I don't know yet. So we're gonna see if they have the same views or if they have different views. Probably different though. But let's see.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one is slavery and abolitionism, and the second one is coming from Letters to Captain Beecher. Okay, so passage 1, it says, heaven has appointed to one sex the superior, and to the other the subordinate station, and this without any reference to the character or conduct of either. It is therefore as much for the dignity as it is for the interest of females in all respects to conform to the duties of this relation. But while woman holds a subordinate relation in society to the other sex, it is not because it was designed that her duties or her influence should be any the less important or all pervading. But it was designed that the mode of gaining influence and of exercising power should be altogether different and peculiar. A man may act on society by the collision of intellect in public debate. He may urge his measures by a sense of shame, by fear, and by personal interests. He may coerce by the combination of public sentiment. He may drive by physical force, and he does not outstep the boundaries of his sphere. But all the power and all the conquests that are lawful to woman are only those which appeal to the kindly, generous, peaceful, and benevolent principles. Wow, this is deep. Okay. This is deep. I never even. Wow, okay. I hope you're all following. This is nice. This is nice here. Woman is to win everything by peace and love, by making herself so much respected, esteemed, and loved, that to yield to her opinions and to gratify her wishes will be the free will offering of the heart. But this is all to be accomplished in the domestic and social circle. There let every woman become so cultivated, so refined in intellect, that her taste and judgment will be respected, so benevolent in feeling and action that her motives will be reverenced, so unassuming and unambitious that collision and competition will be banished, so gentle and easy to be entreated, as that every heart will repose.
You just trying to describe a woman.
This is nice, right? Then
Listen,
right?
That's what I say.
Then the fathers, the husbands, and the sons will find an influence thrown around them, to which they will yield not only willingly, but proudly. A woman may seek the aid of cooperation and combination among her own sex to assist her in her appropriate offices of piety, charity, maternal, and domestic duty. But whatever, in any measure, throws a woman into an attitude of combat, either for herself or for others, whatever binds her in a party conflict, whatever obliges her in any way to exert coercive influence throws her out of her appropriate sphere. If these general principles are correct, they are entirely opposed to the plan of arraying females in any abolition movement. Wow, deep, deep. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, before we move to passage 2, because passage 1 is loaded. Okay, passage 1 is loaded. Any thoughts on passage 1? What did you get from passage 1? What do you think passage 1 is telling us? What is the central idea? I want to have from you all.
I want to have a summary of that because they ain't making sense to me.
What?
Like it.
What?
See?
Go ahead.
Sorry. When you were calling me, I was like far, so I apologize for that. I heard you calling me, but
Okay,
I came back when you were reading, so I didn't want to interrupt you.
Okay.
I'm so sorry about that. And the homework, well, it's a long story. Okay, I did half. Okay.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good.
Yeah, and this I just came in confusion on part 1.
What? No, man, this is powerful. This is a powerful essay. I love this so much. Anyone else?
I think he feels as though man should be in control. How he describing a woman.
You think he feel that man's supposed to be in control? But this is a woman, you know. This is a woman.
I know.
Catherine Beecher. This is a woman. This is a woman speaking.
She doing too much now.
Well, like, you see this guy when I go, I don't know.
What is her? Okay, what is her point though? What is her central point? Besides all what she said, like what is she trying to say? Don't go silent on me now. Don't go silent on me. What is she trying to say? What is Catherine Beecher trying to say? She has a very serious thesis, right? Wow. The way how she built this, wow. This is like a masterpiece.
Superior is a woman?
Say it again?
The superior of the universe is a woman?
The superior of the universe is a woman? No.
Mm.
Damn, what the point is. What is the point? Anyone?
Is it like exercising power, like male power, like it's just so confusing, man.
Confusing. Anyone else feel the same way? It's confusing.
Like words confuse me.
Oh yes, are you describing?
Okay.
Yeah, her description is not like the typical way you would describe a woman. That yeah. So.
Oh, okay. Boy, okay. All right. But this is how our writing's supposed to be, though. This is how our writing's supposed to be. Very nice like this. Okay, so let me explain what's going on now. So, basically, what she is saying is, I love her construct of ideas. It's amazing. She is saying, okay, we have two spheres, and we're going to pretend like this is a sphere. Okay? So we have two spheres. The red one, obviously, is going to be the man sphere. This is the man sphere. So this is the man's world. This is when we say man sphere, we mean anything that is okay for a man to do. This is a man sphere, right? So man sphere. This is what it's okay for him to do. So in her essay, she introduces two spheres, though. She introduces a man sphere, and then she introduces what other sphere? Help me out. She introduces a man sphere and what other sphere? A woman sphere, right? Woman sphere. So she has two spheres, a man sphere and a woman sphere. So the man sphere is anything that is okay for a man to do. And then a woman sphere is anything that's okay for a woman to do. So this is a woman sphere. Okay? So we're going to go into the passage and see what's inside the man sphere. And see what's inside the woman's sphere. So in the man sphere, listen carefully. I'm going to let y'all see it. This is beautiful. When I say beautiful, I mean like the way how she developed it is like amazing. And the words that she choose, oh my goodness. Anyway, all right. She says, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it so you get it. She says that a man may act on society by the collision of intellect in public debate. He may urge. What do you mean by urge? He may urge. Hello? Am I the only one here? He may urge. What do you mean by urge? If we urge in something.
Oh, sorry, strong desire.
Strong desire.
Yeah.
If someone is urging you to do something, they are what? They are consistent, they are passionate, they are nearly forceful. They are like nearly forceful, right? So notice the words that she's using concerning a man. She talk about collision. When you think about the idea of collision, you think like activity, force. You think like two things coming together. So he may act upon society by the collision of intellect. So that's a combat, like, right? Collision of intellect in public debate. So she's saying that for a man, his sphere, number one, definitely is going to be public, right? So his sphere is public. For a man, his space is public. In her eyes, it's kind of okay for a man to use force, right? Now, not she's not like saying like punch you in the face, but like she used the word urge and she used the word collision that gives the idea of force, of power, right? Right? Like power, right? So this is a man's sphere. Public, force, power, right? Those ideas. Let's go back to it. What else do we have here? She says that he may act upon society. So this is him acting upon society with the collision of intellect. That means public debate. He may urge his measures by a sense of shame. So a man could act from shame. He can act from fear. He could even act on or by personal interest. He may coerce. What do you mean by coerce? By the combination of public sentiment. Say it again.
Coordinate.
No. Coerce.
No.
Coerce means like persuade, right?
Oh.
So, and usually coerce gives the impression that, someone is unwilling to do something. I love that idea. Oh my goodness, unwilling. They are unwilling to do something, and you kind of coerce them to do it. Like they so unwilling, but you push them to do it. You see what I'm saying? So that's when she's talking about a man. She's saying like a man, his fear, he could use force, he could use power, he could use coercion. So coerce means like we say to persuade someone who's unwilling, right? I like the word that she used. So he could even work from a sense of fear. He could work from a sense of fear. He could work from a sense of shame. He could even work for his own personal interests, right? Personal interests. To get what he wants to happen, right? Personal interests. But those are not really the things that she really hit on much. She gonna introduce it again. Even though they form a part, what a real point is that she's saying that. She's saying that. Let's go back here. She's saying that. Sorry, it's here. She's saying that he may coerce. That means persuade someone who is unwilling by the combination of public sentiment. I love this word. He may what?
Drive.
He may drive, right? He may drive. When we say drive, what do we mean? He may drive by physical force. What does that mean? Is that talking about car drive?
Push or move.
Yeah, push or move, right? But to push or move in a soft way?
Forcefully.
Forcefully, right? So he may drive by physical force, right? So this man might drive. When we say drive, we means to push strongly. So he may push strongly. So what they're saying is that she's saying that for a man, right? Let's push strongly. For a man, it's okay if he interact in public. If it's okay if he forcefully presents his idea. It's okay if he use power and drive and coercion. She's saying that he could do all of that, right? He could do all of that. And she says something else. And he does not outstep the boundaries of his sphere. So she's saying he doing all of this, but he does not outstep the boundaries of his sphere. What does that mean?
Repeat what you said, please.
It says that he could do all of that, use power, use force, use coercion, interact in the public arena, and he could do all that, and he does not outstep the boundaries of his sphere. What does that mean?
Then come out of.
Like it's normal for him.
Say it again, Nancy.
It's normal for him to like act that way, do stuff that way.
Exactly. It's normal for him to do that. It's right almost for him to do that. It's not really right, but it's
acceptable.
I like the word. It's acceptable for him to do that, right? So he doesn't come out of his circle when he do that, right? It's people expect him to operate like that. Like it's not degrading for a man to debate and for a man to use force and for a man to interact in the public arena and have that mind versus mind mentality, right? It's acceptable for him to push strongly, right? And he is still in his sphere. He's still interacting as a man. You understand what I'm saying? That's what she's saying, right? But let me before I say but, do you agree with that? Do you agree with her man sphere? Anyone agree with her man sphere, or you disagree?
Something like that.
Agreed.
Agreed. Why you agree, Miss Bodie?
Because men are boisterous and people expect them to be that way.
Okay. All right. No one want a soft man. Is what you're saying.
I agree.
Why you agree, Nancy?
Because my daddy's that way.
Oh mercy. Oh wow. Okay. All right. Anyone else? So she's saying that hey, in a man's sphere, he could operate. This is very important. Publicly, he could use force. He could debate. I like that word. He could debate. You know what I mean? He could debate. Right? He could challenge. Right? Right? Forcefully. Right? He could basically enter into fights and battles with a sense of purpose and courage. Forcefully, he could drive. You know what I mean? He has that power, that modem, right? That's what she's saying is in a man's sphere, right? He could push strongly, right? He could act from any principle. It doesn't matter. I mean, she's saying that he could act from impulse. It doesn't matter. But he's still operating in his circle, and he has not left his circle. It's acceptable for him to do so. Go ahead. Someone is saying something? Oh, it does. It's acceptable for him to do so, right? That's what she is saying, right? Someone might get on. Okay. Okay, so it's acceptable for him to do so. But now she's gonna make a contrast. This person. Can they be muted? Okay, so now let's go on to her next argument. She says, but. So what is she gonna do here? She's using a transition word, right? When she say but, what you think she's gonna say now? What you think she's gonna?
So what they can do?
She's not what they're gonna. Not they can, what they can't do. But obviously she's gonna make a comparison there, right?
Comparison.
Yeah, she say but, right? All the power and all the conquests that are lawful. I like this word. I like a word. Why? Lawful. What do you mean by lawful?
Full of law.
Right.
Right.
Allowed.
Allowed. I like that. Right. Allowed. Right. Acceptable. Right. All the ones that is right or allowed or acceptable to woman are what? Are those only? Oh no. Oh no. Only. What do you mean by only?
To a specific category.
Only, like, that's the only ones that the woman could use. You see, but all the power and all the conquests that are lawful to women are those only which appeal to the what? Help me out.
Kindly.
Appeals to the kindly, to the generous, to the peaceful, and to the benevolent principle. What is she trying to say?
No. To being nice or goes to like the woman.
Say it again.
Stuff would include being nice or soft, I should say. Goes to the woman.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Anyone else?
If submissive.
Submissive? She didn't say submissive here.
The less violent things goes to the woman.
Less violent. I like that one. The less violent ones. I like that. Less violent. Peaceful. Calm. So she's saying if we go into the sphere of the woman, what is the only things that's allowed in her sphere?
Friendliness.
Yeah, kindness. Right. What else? Kindness.
Being calm.
Yeah, calmness. Gentleness. Gentleness. Being calm. Right? Right? Being peaceable. Being loving. Right?
Caring.
Being caring and all that stuff. Okay. So she's saying in the women's sphere only is kindness, gentleness, calmness, peaceableness, loving, and caring. Do we agree with this woman's thesis? This is her thesis right now. She can say this 100 times over and over. This is her point right here. She's saying that man can use violent, and forcible, and driving, and factors, and they can interact in the public space. And she's saying that women in their sphere, the only thing that they have is kindness, gentleness, calmness, peaceableness, and they only could interact in the domestic space. When we say domestic, what do we mean?
Home.
In the home.
Indoor activities.
So, all right. So that's her point. Do we agree with her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why yes? Help me understand why you say yes.
Half. Women don't need all the stress.
They don't need all that stress. Okay. All right. Anyone else? Do we agree with that?
Halfway.
Halfway? Okay. Help me understand.
See my answer.
Half, because
Uh-huh.
the woman's fair is true, but sometimes we have to step in.
The woman's fair is.
It is true to some point, but sometimes we have to bring the force and power, because some people think that we're too weak, and we gotta show them that we're not as weak as they say.
Oh, okay.
So you just have sometimes you gotta step out of the fair to show people that, hey, calm down now.
Calm down. All right.
But there's the thing, Mr. Petit.
Go ahead.
Some women, it's that stress of mind nowadays.
Anyway, I ain't getting into that discussion. I'm not getting into that discussion. Next thing I get in trouble.
Negativity is real.
Anyway, but this is her thesis. This is Pastor One's point, and I really listen. I really don't want you all to miss that. Like, when you're reading, right? When you're reading, please look for the point that they're trying to say. All right. You see, like how I was able to piece that point out because I understood it, right? And so when you're reading, don't just read words, but see if you can understand the idea. That's why I always ask you, what is the idea? What is their central point? What are they trying to state, right? So we already know a thesis. We already know what she's trying to say. Now everything would make sense now because we already know the two bubbles. She's saying there is two bubbles. There's two spheres. And man is not allowed to go in the woman's sphere. And the woman, more importantly, in her case, she's saying that they are not allowed to go into the man's sphere. That's what she's saying, right? That's her point. That's a thesis. So,
like in the bath after spell, like some of them, some in the bath after spell, not all men is like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're right. But you're right, Miss Hastiny. I just saying what the author saying, like her point. Okay, so we just was trying to piece out what she's trying to say. But I love her alliteration. I love what she did there. She said, "Woman is to win everything by what?
Peace.
By peace, love. So she's saying that woman is not supposed to.
It was that simple.
She's saying that a woman is supposed. This is a view. This is a view. I it's an interesting view. It's very nice. It's interesting though. Wow. It's the way how she put it, man. She's saying woman is to win everything by peace and love. By making herself so much respected and esteemed and loved that to yield her opinions and to gratify her wishes will be the free will offering of the heart. That's very important. Free will. So, listen to me carefully. Remember when we was talking about the men's circle, right? When we look at the men's circle, men, she's saying they could coerce. Now, when you coerce, the person is unwilling, right? They are unwilling. Like it's almost like you have someone arm and you twist their arm. Like you coerce them, right? Like they are unwilling. Someone is unwilling to do something, you coerce them, you persuade them, you bring them on, right? That's the idea with the man's sphere. The person is unwilling, and you persuade them on, even forcibly if you have to use force, right? But she's saying, no, woman is more elegant than that. We don't coerce, we don't force. Like, she's saying that, hey, when the person listen to us, they will do so willingly. They wouldn't even know that they submitted to our will. They'll be so willing because we're so gentle and so kind with them, and they respect us so much that they'll be willing to do what we say. Like, we don't have to force them to do what we say. We don't have to drive them to do what we say. We don't have to challenge them, right? We just have to be respected and respectable, and they'll listen to us.
If you be too kind and all that, they take advantage of them.
Okay, if you be too kind, then, but that's not what the author is saying. The author is saying, hey, the more you use peace and love, and the more you respect yourself and are respected, they will listen to you. And okay, so that's her view. And she says, then she says, but I love this. This is all to be accomplished in the domestic and social circle. So the man, his sphere is public, right? Public, like outside, in the courtroom, in the parliament, whatever. But she's saying that the woman's sphere, no, the woman's sphere is in the social circle. The woman's sphere is in the domestic circle. It's interesting because notice when this is written in 1830, in the 1830s. That's how women view themselves in the 1830s.
I expected that.
Right? In the 1830s, that's how they view themselves, right?
I expect that because
now these women today, boy, home circle. What is the home circle anymore?
What are you trying to say?
I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, I found it.
Got a lot of explaining to do, Mr. Petit.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. Right? There, let women become so cultivated. I love this. Cultivated and what? Refined. Right? You ever saw someone who was cultivated and refined? You know them. You know what those words mean? Cultivated and refined. Those are powerful words. They are powerful words. They are cultivated. That means you ain't afraid to take them out. They are mature. Right? They are refined. Like, you don't have to tell them, man, shut up, be quiet, man, you talking too much, or, you know what I mean? Or, man, you laughing too loud, come on. Like, they know how to act, and they are polite, they are mature, they are refined, they are noble, they are almost like queens and princess. They are, very very well organized and well, put together, everything, right? So go ahead.
I don't mean to cut you off, but your time wrong again, right?
It's definitely wrong. It's so wrong. I don't even know what to do at this time.
It's 7:58.
7:50. It's 7:50, right? So she then goes on to describe the woman. I didn't see that we have to make this 2 parts because we ain't even get into the second thing. But I think that we should explain it though, because it's gonna be hard to answer the questions if you don't understand it. Oh. Okay. Okay, so then let every woman become so mature, so refined, so cultivated that her taste and judgment will be what? Respected. So benevolent in feeling and action that her motives will be reverenced. Right? Wow. So unassuming and unambitious that collision and competition will be banished. So gentle. Yeah. So gentle and easy to be entreated that every heart will repose in her presence. This is deep, man.
Okay, feeling that.
This is deep. And she's saying the husbands and sons will find an influence thrown around them to which they will yield. So they wouldn't have to be forced to do anything. They wouldn't have to be. It'll just be like, wow, this woman's so, she's so noble, she's so elevated, she's so refined that, like, whatever she say, I know it's gonna be right. Like, I don't have to question it, and so they would yield to her, not only willingly, but they would proudly do so. They'd be like, wow, I'm so glad that she even talking to me. You know what I mean? That's her case, right? Okay, so then she says, if these principles are true, if these are correct, so she's saying that if what I'm saying makes sense, that there are two spheres, right? They are, if it's true that there are two spheres, the man's sphere and the woman's sphere, and I missed an very important part, because let me just explain this part, because it's better I explain it and instead of going to paragraph 2. He said a woman may seek the aid of cooperation and combination among her own sex to assist her in her appropriate offices of piety, charity, and maternal domestic duty. But listen to this. But whatever in any measure throws a woman into the attitude of a what? Of a combatant. Right? Either of herself, one moment, or others. Whatever binds her in a party of conflict. Whatever obliges her in any way to exert coercive influence, throws her what? What's his word?
Throws her out.
Out of her what?
Appropriate.
So what is she saying are the things that could throw a woman out of her circle, out of her sphere? What are the things that
basically acting like a man?
Exactly, basically acting like a man. Exactly. So if she try to use combat, right? If she try to act like she's a combatant, right? You ever met women who, like, they talk so much, they rowdy, they loud. Listen to me very carefully, right? It's weird. It's weird when you see a loud woman. Like, it's weird because you feel like, what? Why the woman so loud? Like, why is she? I don't know. I don't know if it's probably just me, but it's weird.
It ain't only you.
It's weird when you see it. It's like, wow.
I agree.
Like,
I mean, I don't want to be rude and tell them to stop, but
yeah, it's weird.
It's mostly be the adults.
I mean,
some gathering.
I mean, I think that, woman has a place she have to express her feelings sometimes, but there's certain ways to do things, and I just feel that sometimes women are too they take on too much of a combatant role sometimes. And she's saying that, hey, this is throwing them out of their sphere when they try to be combatant, when they try to be what's another word you use? Enter into
Can
conflict.
you define the word combatant, please? Like a proper definition?
A proper definition of combatant. Militant, like, okay, that's okay. All right. Proper definition of combatant. All right. All right, combatant. Combatant. Did we spell that right? Okay, combatant. A person engaged in fighting during war. A warrior, a trooper, a soldier engaged in fighting during war. Warring, opposing, contending, right? These are good words. belligerent, conflict, clashing, right? She is saying that these stuff in tone, in voice, in attitude should not be what a woman should be displaying. That's her thesis. Okay. Whatever throws a woman into an attitude of what? Combatant.
Combatant.
You know that back and forth. You know what I mean? Like that. She's saying that if a woman does that, she's coming out of her sphere, right? Whatever obliges her to in any way exert coercion. Remember, she said coercion is only for men. Coercion means it's almost like you twisting somebody's hand to do something, right? See that throws,
So like threatening.
yeah, threatening, and you manipulating them, you know, doing all sort of tricks to get them to do what you want to do. That's coercion. Like the person don't willingly want to do it. They just doing it because you know, on their back and trying to, like you threaten them, or you trying to, like they only do it because you insist, and you consistently insist and consistently insist and consistently insist. Not because they wanted to do it. Now, she's saying, if this is true, if what she is saying is true, she's saying that if what I'm saying makes sense, and if it's true, then that would mean that they are entirely opposed to the plan of arraying females in any abolition movement. So the case here is that
see what abolition means.
Abolition, like abolishing something. So the idea is that they trying to say that, hey, they want to fight for their rights because they were slaves, and one party is saying, hey, what we need to do is that we need to get all the women together, and we need to march down somewhere and parade ourselves and fight for our rights to get out of slavery. But the other group, Miss Catherine, is saying, no, we can't do that. As women, we can't go there in the public and parade ourselves and gyrate ourselves for even if it's for something as so dear a price as freedom. We can't do it because that's out of our sphere, that's out of our zone. That the men do that. They could parade and whatever, and do the whole force and public sphere thing. But for women, they have to operate within the home circle. They have to operate in the social circle. They have to use kindness and gentleness and meekness and stuff. And so they cannot be involved in any abolition movement that involves parading, around the streets for freedom like that. So that's what.
So how do one stand up for themselves, though, if that's the case?
She's saying that we should use, according to her, gentleness. The only thing that you're allowed to use in this fight is generosity, peacefulness, and benevolent principles.
That ain't gonna work.
So she's basically saying that
say it again.
With kindness, begging him for my freedom with kindness.
She's saying that that's the only thing you can use. You can't use physical force. That's what the men do. All right, that's her thesis.
Gotta kill him with kindness.
Kill him with kindness. Kill them with kindness.
Kindness done run out.
Well, increase the dose. Here's what she said. All right, so that's only passage 1, people. We definitely can't get into passage 2. I would really like to see what she say in response, though.
Let's see what she's saying.
No, we can't do that, Heston. That'll take too long.
Heston,
yeah.
Well, I get nothing to do.
We can't do that tonight. Okay, so we'll end here, and so the next week, Monday, we're gonna finish off passage 2, and see what she say concerning it, and then we're gonna answer questions 11 through 21. But in the meantime, I want you to consider these words. I'm gonna highlight them and look up their definition. The first word is subordinate. Subordinate, that's a good one. The next one is subordinate relation, designed. Peculiar, like this one, peculiar. So subordinate, peculiar, benevolent. Benevolent is a very good one. Benevolent, look up what benevolent means. Unassuming. Unassuming. Very good one. Unassuming. Domestic. By domestic. Repose. Repose. Piety. Charity. And maternal. Those are very strong words. How much words that is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Need one more. Coercive. 10. So look up those words. Write their definition down and send me it before Monday. On or before Monday. Class.
Mr. T, can I add one extra word, please?
Yeah, you got extra word. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so coordinate. Sorry, subordinate, peculiar, benevolent, domestic, unassuming, repose, piety, charity, maternal, coercive. Coercive. Very good articles, man. Man, this is very good. Oh, man. Go ahead.
Can you teach me how to write like this? Like really
I
write
know,
like
right? I know, like.
We can do that?
Well, you could try. But the thing is, the first step is you have to know the vocabulary, right? So if these words in the vocabulary, you can't write like it. So that's the first step.
I want to learn how to speak like that, like
Yeah, on a daily basis, right?
Yeah.
I speak like that to professionals, but I won't be able to write like that.
What? Crazy. But she had to think of this before, though. Like, ain't no way. Like, you have to sit down and think about this. Like, you can't just, unless she's a genius, but like just to sit down and you have to sit down and think about it. Like, think about it. And then,
It's like she did a survey too. She asked a bunch of the women.
No, I don't. I think it's so. Remember, if we look carefully, right? She's a daughter of a minister, you know. Layman Beecher was a famous minister and father of Catherine Beecher. So she's a daughter of a minister. So obviously her views also is influenced by her belief, you know, and so that also played a part too.
Okay, so with the vocabulary words, because I really won't write like this, so like you just constantly repeat these vocabularies and like try put them into your daily speaking. Then
no, what you do is and I'm glad that we are reading these. You remember how it was used before, and what'll happen is it'll happen naturally. What'll happen is as you read these things and you understand the context in which it was written, when it comes a time for you to express yourself, you'll find that you'll express yourself in the exact same way that you read before. And so in that way you would develop. Okay? So, but you have to keep on getting in contact with this level of writing so that you can understand what is expected, one. And then when you read your work, you will automatically say, no, I can't say it like that. I have to say it better. And you'll understand what you mean by better. Like you will have a gut feeling. You'll know exactly what you mean. And what you'll be doing, you'll be comparing it to works you've already seen before. And so that's why it's important to read stuff like this. so you can know what is expected, one, and how it is used in practice. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's also a level of creativity as well. You know?
I was going to say that, but they haven't been doing that now.
That's there. Okay. I really can't wait to read this one. The second one, but we'll leave that. And so that's it for the night. Interestingly enough, so this is day 3, week 8. So have a wonderful night, everyone. See you on tomorrow. God spare life.
It's only tea.
Yeah, good night.
Before I leave this tea,
Yeah.
you send me Monday class. I mean on Thursdays.
I sent all them to your mother. She has all them. So ask her. Yeah, ask her to.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I think I remember the day, but I forgot to send Gmail about the first one.
Yeah, like I said, I sent everything to your mother too. So you can also ask her because I sent all them to her.
Okay, thank you.
No problem, Destiny.
Bye, Mr. Petit.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Petit.
Yes, sir.